मेदिनि विश्वविनोदिनि नन्दिनुते गिरिवरविन्द्य शिरोदिनि वासिनि विष्णुविलासिनि जिष्णुनुते भगवति हेशिति कण्ठकुटुम्बिनि भूरि कुटुम्बिनि भूरि कृते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते सुरवरवर्षिणि दुर्गरदर्शिनि दुर्मुखमर्षिणि हर्षरते त्रिभुवनपोषिणि शङ्करतोषिणि किल्बिषमोषिनि घोषरते धनुजनिरोषिनि दिथिशुकरोषिनि दुर्मथतोषिनि सिन्धुषुते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते.
Hi guys, thank you for joining the live stream. I hope the audio is coming fine. I think it is coming fine. Let us know if there's any problem with my audio, because with StreamYard I have no idea how my volume is working or not. So today's topic is whether Hinduism or casteism are interrelated or not. And we will ask Mr. Sociologist his sociological perspective on this. But before that, let me just clarify one thing. I went on a Bengali Tripura-based podcast a few days back, and near the end of the podcast, the host asked me, what are the three podcasts you would recommend all non-left people in India watch? So it was sort of a sudden question, and I was not prepared for it. It was in a rapid fire round. So all I could think of was Sanjay Dixit and Kushal Mehra, because they kind of give both sides, both extremes of the arguments, and are, I think, very well researched, and both have done beautiful, significant, very, very significant narrative building work as well. And on for the third person that people should watch, I actually ended up recommending my own channel, which I think was very stupid of me. I forgot to mention Ajit Bharti's channel. And I think I absolutely take that back. And Ajit Bharti should be watched more. I think most of you all watch his work anyway. But if there's any newcomer, do watch his work as well with Sanjay Dixit and Kushal Mehra.
Your self-promotion is at par with Congress party. So that's nice. Yeah. Always good to learn from the best.
Yeah. So, Professor Lies-a-Lot, hello. Welcome to our podcast.
Welcome, guys. Yes, the market has recovered, thankfully. Modi ji zindabad.
Yeah.
Itna loss ho gaya tha, bhai. Now it's back. Thank God.
Yeah. What is the sociological answer to this? Is Hinduism and are Hinduism and casteism interrelated?
In my opinion, as somebody who's studied this particular phenomenon at length, and also I've been studying global state formation and other processes over the years, I believe that caste has nothing to do with Hinduism. Caste is inevitable. Why? In any section, any society, any complex society of the world, caste will be inevitable, because people will have hierarchies between them. The solidification of these hierarchies produce caste or status differences among people. And that's why status differences have been observed in all complex societies, not just in India. Okay. Now, we were unlucky that somebody labeled it caste. The Portuguese labeled it caste, and that stuck. And not just stuck, that was forcefully inserted into the the vocabulary, academic popular vocabulary as well. And now abhi to log book bhi likh rahe, caste the source of our discontents, comparing Nazi Germany with India and all that stuff. So so this is as you can see, this is a deliberate attempt to call what India has as caste, or bahar mein it's all status. So it's a deliberate attempt on the part of many.
Right. Now, why is caste just status? Why isn't caste class?
So Weber distinguishes between class and caste, class and status, by
Okay.
extension, caste and class, right?
Okay.
So
Max Weber.
although yeah, Max Weber,
Mm.
whom I absolutely love and admire
Okay.
as a sociologist.
Hmm.
So anyway, so Max Weber says ki, let's say you and I both win $1 million in the lottery, right?
Hmm.
Now, technically, according to our bank balance, objectively speaking, we are in the same class. But do you think that you and I belong to the same status? I
Hmm.
don't think so. And I'm
Hmm.
not saying this to degrade you, but in
Yeah.
academia, I probably have more status.
Yeah.
In music circles, you probably have a higher status than me, because
Hmm.
this status is based on one's acceptance within a community of honor. So let's
Okay.
say the Brahmins, to give you an example, sometimes they were powerful landowning castes as well,
Hmm.
particularly in Bengal and other parts of the country.
Hmm.
But even when they weren't the most richest and powerful landowners,
Hmm.
they had that respect. Okay, they had a
Okay.
state of their own.
Hmm.
So this Weber says that this is called Gemeinschaft. Gemeinschaft means community,
Okay.
community of honor.
Okay.
Jaise, for example, the samurai were a community of honor. If you were
Right.
dishonorable, you could not be a samurai. Okay.
Hmm.
Yadavs,
Hmm.
Jats, these are communities of honor. You think
Hmm.
that these are all, you really think that when they say that all Yadavs say that we are descended from Lord Krishna, you really think that's true? No.
Hmm.
They are a group, they are a dominant landowning caste with significant numbers.
Hmm.
But caste jab main bolta hu, which means they are a status group essentially,
Hmm.
which means that because of their land ownership and their claim to Kshatriya status,
Hmm.
they are able to marry within the same caste. वहां
Hmm.
पे भी बहुत differences है. जाति, what we call jati,
Yeah.
that has its own, that is itself a more endogamous version of status group. So
Hmm.
locally endogamous version of status group.
Hmm.
Although there have been examples of marriages outside jati, which quite frequently.
Okay.
So as jati endogamy is not final. Huh.
I
So
see.
Jobio, what I'm trying to say is that caste, when I say that caste is not class, it means that, let's say, a Jat and a Gurjar. Okay,
Hmm.
forget Jat and Gurjar. Let's say a Jatav like Mayawati
Hmm.
and a Yadav like Akhilesh, right?
Hmm.
They both are quite rich. Let's
Hmm.
say, let's assume Mayawati is very rich, which she
Hmm.
is,
Hmm.
and Akhilesh is also very rich,
Right.
right? Now, that does not mean Mayawati and Akhilesh are of the same status. Akhilesh belongs to Yadav, who are claiming to be Kshatriyas.
Hmm.
And because of their land and land ownership, and because they are patronized Brahmins to do their genealogical work and stuff,
Yeah.
their claim to Kshatriya status is more likely to have been accepted by
Okay.
their other lower castes, right?
Okay.
Now, Jatavs, despite being numerous in number, and some
Hmm.
of them are rich and powerful, the
Hmm.
Jatavs cannot really successfully claim to be Kshatriyas, although there are examples of Chamars and other lower castes claiming
Hmm.
to be Kshatriyas,
Hmm.
right? So, what this means is that even if somebody claims to be of a certain status and they are rich and powerful,
Hmm.
this is not necessarily the
Hmm.
case that they will be accepted in another caste or status
Hmm.
group.
Hmm.
For example, if you see the I'll give you the best possible example that will make you understand what this really means. What I say the
Hmm.
difference between class and status is.
Hmm.
So the royal family of England,
Hmm.
right? The
Hmm.
British royal family,
Hmm.
Queen Elizabeth and all. Queen Elizabeth is
Hmm.
not the richest person in England by any measure, right?
Okay.
Uh, she has a lot of wealth and power, but she's nothing close to somebody like you know who's really rich. Even Lakshmi Mittal is richer than the Queen. I'm pretty sure. So in the UK, perhaps even Rishi Sunak is richer than the Queen. Let's say, okay. Rishi Sunak
But
is a millionaire.
don't they have so much undeclared wealth? That
नहीं,
stuff
वो
just
छोड़ो. It
just
does not.
belongs to
My
them.
main point is, even if the Queen were to become much poorer than Rishi Sunak,
Yes, it would not
right,
change anything.
it would not change her status. She
Yeah.
would remain the Queen
Hmm.
by virtue of her birth and genealogy. By by being born as a royal, you claim royalty. You claim to be superior. You don't claim to be rich. Just you don't, you can't claim to be rich without money. But even if you are rich, doesn't mean you get respect, right?
Yeah.
Many people who are rich do not get respect. That is the main thing. That's what Weber observed. Weber says that ये जो status group है, status groups are basically communities of honor. Now, when he says community of honor, it means that जो, let's say, nobles, Kshatriyas, whatever you can call them, even Brahmins and other upper castes, right? These people are honorable men. They have a certain degree of honor in society, where if they dominate by virtue of land and power, then they can claim to be of superior descent. They often say that I am descended from this noble, I am descended from some god, I am descended from some ancient sadhu or somebody, right? For example, the Pallava kings of South India, they claim descent from Dronacharya, Ashwatthama, because they were Brahmins by origin. But so, I mean, how likely is it that they were actually descendants of Ashwatthama, right? It can't be. But people had to claim, right? You can say I'm a Brahmin, but you're just any average Brahmin. No, you have to prove that you are even superior. So you say, okay, from the Mahabharata, this some Brahmin, really powerful Brahmin that everybody knows, I am descended from that, right? And this is a very common trend in many parts of the world, where, for example, the British gentry, many of them claim to be related to the Tudors or even before. So the dynasties of preceding the Tudors, right?
Yeah.
So why did they do all this? Because they, when you, let's say, when you have land, let's say today you join TMC and you have a ton of land, okay? You acquire all the land in your para, but you don't get respect. People say, oh, he was just a poor guy a few years ago.
Yeah.
Uska kya izzat hai? Haan, we'll respect you because we're forced to do so.
Yeah.
So what you will do is you will slowly start saying, "Arey, no, actually, you know what? I don't have just money." See, money ka logic hota hai, to anyone can be superior, right? Tomorrow a beggar might win the lottery and become your superior, right? So money se wo logic nahi aata hai superiority ka. What you will say is, actually, see, I was related to Meghnad Shah. My ancestor was a great scientist and did a lot of work for India, right? So I am from a high prestigious dynasty.
Yeah,
so,
pedigree, high pedigree.
So then what happens is you try to show that you are superior by birth.
Yeah.
And this is quite a common strategy among most castes, most status groups in different parts of the world. So that's why not just me, Weber says, most importantly, that castes are status groups essentially.
Okay.
So agar status group hi hai, to why are we calling it caste? So when somebody goes to England and they talk to a British lord, they never say, bhai tumhara to caste hai, tumhara ka jaat, kaun jaat hai. Nobody says that, right? So why does this particular lens of caste forcefully become powerful in India or South Asia even?
Right. Okay, I have a question about Max Weber. Might be a little out of topic, but it's still relevant, because a lot of people have this question that should we really take, let's say, foreigners, white people, the Western scholars seriously when it comes to discussions on caste? And this is a quote from Professor Kaushik Gangopadhyay's book, The Majoritarian Myth, where he is quoting S.N. Balagangadhara's work, okay? Paraphrasing his work. So this sentence says, even in rejection, one needs to specify a category. To which category did the Buddha belong in his rejection of Brahmanism? From a hostile critic of Indian religion, Max Weber, to a sympathetic admirer of Buddhism, Anthony Kennedy Warder, all agreed to the Buddha's acceptance of the caste system. Anyway, that's a different discussion. But here, is S.N. Balagangadhara saying that Max Weber was a hostile critic of Indian religion, and therefore should we accept his analysis of Indian religion or Indian society?
Well, in one way, because Max Weber was relying on British, British data, right? British historians, British anthropologists, right? He cannot really be faulted for having a, having a problematic view of India. I'll tell you why.
What were his problematic views? Why is Balagangadhara accusing him of being a harsh critic of Indian religion?
Okay, so I actually don't know why Balagangadhara is saying, right? But I will tell you what Romila Thapar said about Weber. Okay. So Romila Thapar is saying that, bhai, you Max Weber, you don't know much about this country. You have not given India the agency it deserves. So Indian, the state in India, Max Weber thinks that it's some Oriental despotism, which is a very common aspect of Western thought. Even Karl Marx used to say it, Oriental despotism. Okay, Oriental mode of production. So that basically means that यहाँ पे जो राजा है, he is all powerful, superior, and there's no democracy whatsoever. There's no social mobility, upward, downward mobility proper. So this kind of very, very stereotypical. Like imagine if you are born maybe 50 years ago, and I tell you to think of China, right? You think there are opium dens, Chinese are just rickshaw pullers and whatnot, right? So this was a common tactic among Europeans, because what happened is the colonizers did see them as inferior. So by that logic, many people inferred that of course these people are stupid and whatnot. But Weber does not actually do that. If you read Weber in original, which many people don't, the religion of India, so then what happens is you can see in small ways Weber has actually considered that there are many similarities between Indian and European society.
I see. I see.
One of the biggest claims he does is ki caste is status group. Okay. Because then in the next line he has written that by even in Europe there are estates. Castes were often, nobilities were often called estates, which are endogamous, which are closed, right?
Yeah, of course.
Poor, जैसे imagine, जैसे when Meghan Markle married क्या उसका नाम क्या, Harry, right? So then some people had a problem with that, right? Including the royal family. They were like, यार कहाँ से आ जाते हैं लोग?
No, even if it wasn't a problem, it was a big deal. Why should it be a big deal if there is no casteism?
That means nobody was allowed to do it earlier.
Yeah, it was
people were allowed to do it earlier, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So if you guys watch The Crown, the series, right, you will see that the British royalty are more stuck up than any people in this thing in UP or Bihar about marriage. If you watch Jane Austen movies, even if you don't have the patience to read a novel, you will see how important it was to make the right kind of marriages among the gentry in Jane Austen novels, right? So marriages were marriage and commensality. मतलब किसके साथ खा रहे हो और किसको शादी कर रहे हो.
रोटी बंदी and बेटी बंदी.
हाँ, क्या?
Roti bandi and beti bandi.
True. In a weird way, this same thing is reproduced in other societies as well. India को ही क्यों लोग पागल सोचते हैं, ये I don't know, right? So that is the main problem that we have. But I am telling you that Weber was still much better than people like Dumont when it came to this kind of understanding of caste. Okay.
So, does India get extra criticism because of the scriptural sanctions and recommendations of following birth-based caste and endogamy? And is there no such sanctions or recommendations in any other law books elsewhere, or at least there wasn't 100-200 years back?
So this is an interesting question. And how many of us have actually read the Manusmriti? How many Indians out of maybe Hindus, 100 crore Hindus, have even 1 crore Hindus read the Manusmriti?
I don't think so.
then how do we know what the Manusmriti says? How do we follow it in our daily lives?
I guess
Apparently,
it's like,
because we're all casteist, right?
yeah,
So why do we where do we follow it? Like, how do we follow it?
that peeing in the mouth of a Dalit and stuff, those kinds of things,
So ये किसने किया, किसने
which
बोला है?
Manusmriti doesn't recommend, by the way.
No, my point is reading the Manu. Let's say I do read the Manusmriti. Should I follow it? Like, just because somebody wrote, let's say I write a book called Mysterious Sociologist Sriti, okay, and 5 people read it. Now I tell you to go and beat some people up. You will do that or what? मनुस्मृति में लिखा है तो सब करेंगे, वही करेंगे क्या? बाइबल में जो लिखा है exact word by word every Christian follows.
No.
Right. And even theirs is एक single book which is forced on them in some ways. Right.
Yeah.
हमारा तो वो भी नहीं है. We have hundreds and thousands of books.
Yeah.
So what is how are there scriptural sanctions? And my bigger point here is, you really think that propaganda books were not written for other nobles and royalty in different parts of the world?
And actually there might have been propagandas.
The Polychronicon, the Compendium, these were all written for royalty. If the Puranas were written for the Guptas and other ruling dynasties or different prominent jatis, then other such books, in Nihon Shoki in Japan, like I said, the Compendium, the Polychronicon, these were all written for the British, right? For English people. ये तो वो भी तो बुक लिखते थे. ऐसा नहीं है कि only the Brahmins or the Kshatriyas would write some books in India.
Yeah, that is what I was going to say, that there might have been other texts which were glorifying and claiming other jatis or varnas to be superior than everyone else, but the British did not highlight those.
Yeah, that's the other point.
Yeah,
almost every jati claims to be superior, right? They have they produce some kind of history about it.
Or used to be superior, got demoted because of some ancestors' wrongdoing.
Precisely.
Yeah.
So my point is that if everyone is claiming such stuff, then how do you privilege just the Brahmins? And then firstly, privilege the Brahmins matlab kya? You're taking their view and you're seeing that as the absolute view of Indian society, because you thought that the Brahmins were the church, but the Brahmins were not the church, right? So we don't have, that whole scriptural sanction argument doesn't really work in real life. On top of that, as we've been saying, how many people even read these scriptures?
Yeah, and there I have a devil's
contradict each other, na?
Yeah, of course. There I have a devil's advocate argument that the reading part, everyone reading part might not be important, because like no one has read Karl Marx, but everyone demands free stuff because that's how the mind has been molded today after 70 years of communism. So that part might not be that important, that no one reads.
So even worse, what they were saying is that 5% people controlled like 95% people because they were more literate, or what? Kya point hai isme? Right. So my point is that if you're trying to say that Brahmins controlled everything and all aspects of people's behavior, then you are basically saying that Dalits, other Shudras like us, everyone was stupid.
Yeah, right? Then here the leftists are taking away.
Believed everything.
Here the leftists are taking away the same agency from Indians that they were accusing Max Weber of doing.
Precisely.
And that was actually my next question. That
even worse, अभी तो ये लोग Origin नाम का एक film निकाल रहे हैं. From Caste, the source of our discontents, they are now making a movie. They have made the movie called Origin, which is complete propaganda against India. Right. So ये लोग तो अभी they are doing whatever the hell they want, the West. Now,
can you just elaborate on the topic of that film, that upcoming film, which is based on a famous book as well? Why they are blaming India?
I think it got some awards as well. Origin. It's based on Wilkerson's book. 2020 mein she made a book, wrote a book called Caste, the Source of Our Discontents.
What Wilkerson? What Wilkerson?
Isabel Wilkerson.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. So she wrote a book called this thing, Caste, the Source of Our Discontents. And in that book, she basically compares India with the American South during slavery. And वो तो फिर भी common है.
That's the
तुम्हारे
Suraj
दोस्त
Young
यंगड़े से
argument,
पूछ लो.
right?
Hackneyed stupid argument.
Hmm.
And on top of that, she's even saying Nazi Germany was also caste. Matlab, Jews were a caste and Germans were a caste, Gentiles. So ये सब caste है. And it is comparable in some ways to how the dominant castes of India behave.
Okay,
Rules
so
of
the Arundhati
pollution,
Roy argument,
purity.
right?
मतलब उसने डूमो पढ़ा है, which is one of the worst books
Yeah.
to read on caste. Okay, she read Dumo.
Hmm.
And then she's like, how can I make even stupider arguments? And then she went to Nazi Germany and this thing.
Hmm.
Yeah. American slavery. Okay.
Yeah.
My
Now-
biggest problem with such assertions is
Hmm.
technically no Jew agreed to go to a concentration camp on their own.
Hmm.
Okay. They were forced, they were tied, guns were put to their head and they were forced into concentration camps. Slaves were tied up in Africa, put in shackles, and they were brought to America, where they were again tied up, put in, various laws were put in about trading and them buying, selling them, and they were treated like inhuman. So मतलब दोनों में ही no, Isabel's movie will not be Netflix ka Cleopatra. I'll tell you later why. What M Shastri, please highlight that comment. Yes. So दोनों में ही the either the Jews or the slaves in America both tried to run away from the situation because they knew this is crazy, right? We're being forced into something we don't want to do. Matlab, we are being exterminated, killed, tortured, whatever. So by extension of that logic, you're saying that Dalits in India, who were more in number, and there is no evidence of them being tied up and forced into slavery per se, then you are saying that Dalits and Shudras like us were stupid enough to actually believe in what the Brahmins are saying and actually tie us down to like we're doing the same thing that Jews are doing, but voluntarily. मतलब ये तो अलग लेवल का रेसिज्म हो गया.
Yeah. Agency gone out of the window. Everyone has agency except Dalits, apparently. Yes, of course, they lack some agency because now they are lower in the status rung, but not to face like inhuman physical tortures and mass deaths, massacres,
Jews were
genocides, and
sent to
stuff.
concentration camps.
Yeah.
The closest approximation of concentration camps happened in Kashmir and Noakhali and these places, right?
Yeah.
So how can you compare that situation with the situation of Dalits in India? Dalit bolo, tribal bolo, scheduled caste bolo, Shudra bolo. How can you compare these sometimes who are actually landowning and powerful? How can you compare these people with slaves of America? Right.
Yeah. Now, wait, check out this comment. Someone is saying even Vivek Debroy, who's close to the present government, literally puts in his books and calls Dalits as slaves in his Hindu text translation. Oh my God. Hey, which text?
इसका कुछ और लोचा है, and I will not say it in public.
Yeah.
But Mr. Debroy, Dr. Debroy is perhaps not
okay,
completely on our side anyway.
Okay. So what I'm wondering is Romila Thapar's sudden sympathy for our agency, is that because she wants the excuse to blame Hindus, that if I say that Hindus don't have the agency, then I can't blame them? Why is she suddenly after
honestly,
defending
I'll
our
tell you
agency?
what, I read a lot of Romila Thapar.
Okay, wait, check out this comment where Vivek Debroy mentioned this, okay? His 1992 book.
मतलब 2014 से बहुत साल पहले, मतलब अच्छा ठीक है anyway. So anyway, let's
Thapar and agency.
Romila Thapar. So Romila Thapar, I have read a ton of Romila Thapar actually for various reasons.
God bless you, my boy.
No, but the point is I don't see a lot of problematic arguments in Romila Thapar, by the way, except her points on Weber, which I find to be misplaced. This is why having a free mind is a problem. So the thing is that with Romila Thapar, she did try to put some Western concepts and understand the Indian history. Okay. And it's not like, so she says lineage groups evolved into states which evolved into castes, right? मतलब states से फिर से caste निकला था. Lineage groups were basically landowning corporate groups in the ancient period. So example would be the Kuru dynasty, the Pandavas, the Kauravas, these, that, okay. So there were these dynasties that were landowners, and they were powerful royals and all. And so, I mean, if you technically see what Rumila Thapar is saying, she is not saying that Hinduism is to blame. Okay, ऐसा नहीं, चिल्ला चिल्ला के ऐसा नहीं बोल रहा है.
Yeah, of course.
In fact, I think she has even critiqued Dumo in certain occasions. So what I'm trying to say is, Dumo is, I think, the worst book to read ever on caste is Dumo. और वेस्ट में लोग पहले वही पढ़ते हैं. Okay. Yeah, अजीब चीज है. मतलब you are, so much has been written after, before, criticizing Dumo heavily, but the Westerners will go on reading that. मतलब all Westerners नहीं, Quigley, Dirks, they have all criticized Dumo. Gloria Goodwin Raheja, many people.
Right.
But यार ये पहला जो बुक पढ़ते हैं Dumo पढ़ लेते हैं, फिर they go crazy about it. They think that ये तो नाजी है. क्या अजीब, मतलब this logic is very weird. Okay.
What about her views on Islamic invasion and stuff though? Aren't there problems there?
I'll be very honest with you. I read only primarily her works on ancient India. Okay. I have not read, so I read some Irfan Habib, and even Irfan Habib, his essay on caste, he had said that Brahmins cannot be exclusively blamed for the caste system, because it is the karma theory of Buddhists that actually creates this birth-based understanding of caste. If you are born in a lower caste, then you deserve it because of your last janam ka karma.
Right.
Okay. So even Irfan Habib on occasion has actually critiqued Buddhists more than Brahmins.
I see.
Of course, Brahmins codified stuff and what, but I'll tell you what, my understanding of the history of India, which is actually the social history. So I am not very good at political history. Okay, I read more of social history and stuff like caste, gender, these kind of things. So if we even look at many leftists, okay, they have actually shown how Brahmins were able to allow matlab nahi, they aided in people's ascent to power. So the biggest example would be the Mollo dynasty, who were, or Rajputs, right, who were actually tribals, and the Brahmins said, "Bhai, I'll help you out. क्या चाहिए?" And they were like, "हमको genealogy चाहिए, ये क्षत्रिय वत्रिय कुछ है." So they were like, "हाँ, तो सूर्यवंशी बना देते हैं इसको, चंद्रवंशी उसको बना देते हैं, और तुम क्या होना चाहते हो?" अच्छा, Mollo Bhum, they went. Mollo Bhum means Vishnupur right now.
Yeah.
So they were like, "Okay, so what do you want to be?" And they were like, "हाँ, Rajput बन जाते हैं." So they created all this stuff. They did a lot of stuff, And
wait, I have some question on this topic, but this is a related question, and he's asking it repeatedly. So can you just take this question? He's asking, is mysterious sociologist academically aware of the socio-cultural cohesion of Mewar, the feudalistic capital of Bharat? And is Maharana Pratap's relationship with Bhils an exception to the rule of societal rigidity?
No, yahi, as far as Mewar, I read a book on Mewar a long time ago. I don't particularly remember a lot of details, but yes, this was very common. This rising from tribe to become a Rajput or a king, this was quite common, and Brahmins were quite helpful to these kings. Matlab, jab Brahmins, imagine na, Brahmins are like scholars, right? Basically, they are scholars and scientists and academics, right? So
exactly.
Today, when Narendra Modi is in power, पहले when Narendra Modi was not in power as a prime minister, यही लोग बहुत लोग गाली देते थे. Lot of academics I know, right? The moment they saw, अरे चाय वाला प्रधानमंत्री बन गया, nice. मोदी जी आप जैसा कोई मेरे जिंदगी में आए तो बात बन जाए. So they did it. Many of them, even Rajdeep Sardesai on occasion has praised Modi.
Yeah, just a few days back, even before this election, he said that on development you can't say anything to Modi.
बहुत ऐसे बहुत लोग हैं. Many academics I know, एकदम पूरा card carrying communists, they were like, Modi is not that bad after Modi came to power.
Yeah, of course. Then so Modi did not do enough. Modi didn't do enough Brahmin Bhojan, which is keep the IAS and professors happy. So now they have turned on him. and you
happy
can't
से
become a king
काम
in
नहीं
this.
चलेगा. तुम अपना see the
Yeah.
problem is either they kept some very weird people happy, okay,
Yeah.
who are absolutely useless, who did nothing for your narrative, right?
Right.
Number one. Number two is majority they did not keep happy. So both. So what happened
Yes.
is the people you kept happy were useless. The people
Yeah.
you did not keep happy became active and worked for foreign interests, right? So
Yes.
either way, you screwed your own thing.
Yeah.
Or as a result, you have 240 seats.
Yeah.
Okay.
In India, you cannot become a king or a little king without doing Brahman Bhojan, without
अपना
keeping
Brahman
Brahmins happy.
उठाओ ना. You
Yes.
have many people
Exactly.
who are in academia who are waiting to help you out in different
Yeah.
ways, right?
Yeah.
ये 2 दिन पहले I think even Adi, Defense Talks by Adi, somebody was saying that अपना create your own section of Brahmins ना. Why do you need to depend on the old ones?
Yes.
अपना narrative बना, अपने बंदे बैठाओ.
Yes.
Even when I'll tell you something, I won't take any names or any specific information, but as far as I know, whenever there have been recruitments under the BJP ruled states or Modi government, they put absolute idiots, even those who belong to the right wing, quote unquote, or Indic wing, let's say,
Non-left. Yeah.
non-left. When they put such people, they have put the dumbest and stupidest people in positions of academic influence.
Yeah.
Either they put leftist, ex-leftists and all,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
they put the dumbest possible people.
Right.
And somebody told me that in the BJP, they don't like a lot of intelligent people, even if you're on their side, because it's difficult to control the thoughts of intelligent people. Okay, this is what somebody told me. I hope what he's saying is not true. I hope.
Here's one thing I don't get about this anti-intellectualism of RSS and BJP, which Sitaram will even criticized like 40-50 years back.
Yeah.
Why, if these people have are pretty knowledgeable about India's past, why don't they get this, that they will have to keep the Brahmins of today happy? Because they also consider today that the Varna system to be existent even today, that but in different ways. That today's scholars are the Brahmins of the past. They also think that way only.
No, there is a problem. They try to deny caste so much, and this is because यार ये जो भी हिंदुत्ववादी होते हैं, first thing people do is accuse them of being casteist and all. So what happens is they try to defend against it so much, always as usual, कि वो लोग ने caste को deny ही कर दिया. Okay, status hierarchies, they denied it. इतना deny किया कि they forgot that you need to create your own section of Brahmin. You need everything. You need a Kshatriya, you need a Shudra, you need a Vaishya. We only have Vaishya and Shudra. Kshatriya to छोड़ो ठीक है, Indian army है फिर भी. What about Brahmin?
Which can't go to some locations.
Yeah, वो भी ठीक है थोड़ा बहुत. फिर भी in West Bengal, I will not elaborate, but in West Bengal वो भी missing है. ठीक है, छोड़ देता है. You are Baniyas, you are Vaishyas, good for you. Development हो रहा है, stock market उठ रहा है, very nice. You have Shudras, you have the Sangh, who do a lot of seva karya, who are very you see the tribal votes are coming and all that. That's very nice. Dalits are also voting in many sections. अच्छा है. But यार Brahman कौन है? In सब में Brahman कौन? Now I am not a Brahman. You know how much I absolutely don't like how Brahmins in Communist Party and the left behave. Okay.
Yeah, the so-called Brahmins.
I think they are Brahmins only because in a sense that they have taken the birth-based privileges of Brahmins.
Right.
Some of them.
True.
And then they flipped sides because that was more profitable. ठीक है, वो छोड़ देता है. जैसे for example, I'll give you an example of Somnath Chatterjee. Somnath Chatterjee is a leftist, card-carrying communist, speaker of Lok Sabha and all that, CPM का बड़ा नेता. His father was in the Hindu Mahasabha. So his father fought for Hindutva. Son is fighting to destroy this country. Okay. So all this is there.
Yeah.
Ultimately, son also helped in destroying CPM. Anyway, that's different. but he aligned with Italians. So वो भी छोड़ देता है. My point is that people with Brahmin surnames and Brahmin privileges, some privileges Brahmins had, we cannot deny these. Okay, land grants and all these point to that. Some, मैं बोल नहीं रहा हूँ कि करोड़पति थे, but Brahmins did.
Status में तो high ही थे.
हाँ, status था, and because of status, like many kings used to give them land grants.
Yes.
Okay.
In
Now
return for the
does
sanction.
that mean every Brahmin is rich and powerful and landowning? No.
No, because
I'm
there are
trying
different
to say
jatis inside the Brahmin Varna as well.
yeah, there are lower status
Yeah.
Brahmins who did not get these privileges.
Yeah.
But the Brahmins who did dominate in Indian society, they did get benefits. और ये
Yeah.
गलत नहीं है. I'm not saying this is a crime. They must give away their wealth, redistribution. ऐसा नहीं बोल रहा हूँ. I am saying this was a norm. In England and Europe, they used to give land grants to churches. The feudal nobles of Europe, they did own land. It was not a crime to own a lot of land, right? So Brahmins were not criminals. They were not, they were not trying to kill people actively. जैसे दिखाना चाहते हैं.
Yeah.
So my point is that if all of this is true, then these same Brahmins, they have betrayed the cause. Many of them, not all. Again, not all, but many. Savarkar was a Brahmin. Shyama Prasad Mukherjee was a Brahmin.
Sanjeev Sanyal, Desai Deepak, we love this.
Yeah, many of them have worked for this country, but a large chunk of them did join the communists and the Congress, and they did mess up this country's economy and the Hindu society and everything. They did.
Would you say, in a way, Bengali Brahmins are the most intelligent Brahmins of all because they know how to keep their privileges intact, even though the Brahmins of other states don't get that fully, I guess?
Yeah. Bengali Brahmins, we've spoken about this before. I'll just repeat it. Yeah. Bengali Brahmins in Bengal, they joined the communists, they joined the British, they joined the Mughal bureaucracy.
The Kolkata Brahmins were Congress up until a few years back. Yeah. Now they are Trinamool.
So they did, and they continue to do, many of them, whatever is essential for their own benefits in Bengali society, which is why in Bengali society, most people in the arts, academia, bureaucracy, every aspect of power, right? Police, politics, like half the people are Brahmins.
Any Bengali that a non-Bengali has heard of, any Bengali that a non-Bengali has heard of is probably a Brahmin, or if not, then maximum Kshatriya, Boidyo, Kayastha.
Precisely.
Now, here's an important question from Ninar, which I had told him that we will discuss in the next discussion with Mr. Sociologist. Ninar is saying, also do comment on what the fuck Dilip Mondal is doing with his subaltern Hindutva. A Hindutva without Hinduism at all. So, what do we think of?
No, I don't think it's a Hindutva without Hinduism. Ye Dilip Mondal kuch alag locha kar raha hai. I won't acknowledge that. But imagine what subaltern Hindutva is for me, right? The best example is from Bengal again. Okay. West Bengal. Look at the tribals. Right. Look at the tribals of Orissa. Look at the Dalits of West Bengal. They are still, even despite all the problems that they have faced, they are still voting for Lotus. Because their Hindutva is, they are Hindus, unapologetic Hindus, and they are trying to protect their culture and religion.
Yes.
The Motuas, for example. The Motuas are
right.
बीजेपी जितना भी सीट मिल रहा है ना, बीजेपी को दलित्स के वजह से बंगाल में सीट मिल रहा है, जितना भी मिल रहा है.
Even ST
as well. So my point is that that is, in my opinion, subaltern Hindutva. They are also Hindus. They are not non-Hindus. They are unless they have converted. So they are Hindus who want to save their culture and land.
So in a way, what you are saying is that the phrase subaltern Hindutva is actually meaningful, but Dilip Mondal can't be allowed to be the king or have the monopoly over this term subaltern Hindutva.
Of course not, because I would rely on somebody like Sajjan Kumar.
Okay, who is he?
He is a political scientist who actually did coin this term. Okay. So जैसे होता है ना, somebody coined the term and like somebody took it too far and made it into a joke. Okay.
Okay.
So वही हो रहा है कि सज्जन sir, he is a senior political scientist. He's a very sensible guy. He's from JNU. Okay. He knows North Indian politics really well.
Okay.
And he is all for subaltern Hindutva, and उसने बोला है कि देखो ये, for example, when the woke culture thing happened in India, more and more it's happening. Then Sajjan sir said that bhai, this rubbish is not going to have traction among the lower castes. This is an urban upper caste phenomenon. Okay. Lower caste don't fall for this woke rubbish. Huh. So my point is that this for me, the Mutuas are subaltern Hindutva for me. Not Dilip Kondol and his leftist friends.
Right. Now, here's an interesting point from Ajju. He's saying Dilip Mandal at present is trying to be a centrist after realizing his value or status is degraded amongst the left.
No, left. Dekho, the left is actually a very competitive market. Okay, जैसे हम में us who are indie queen, let's say, we don't have too many intellectuals. So there's not a lot of competition. Okay.
Yeah.
और वैसे भी ये लोग तो we are like Anushilhan Samiti, right? We are in the dark, we are in the secret.
Yeah.
We are like Bane's army, let's say. एकदम घटिया Bane का version. Bane without steroids. Okay.
Yeah.
So we are like that, but they are so many in the left that it's a competitive market for them.
Yeah.
और कौन Soros भैया का पैसा मिलेगा किसको Soros छे.
Right.
So so some of them do change their stance, but it's not in the left per se. Like, देखो आज दिलीप मंडल सिंह सूरज एंगड़े उठ रहा है और अलग-अलग there are Dalit scholars, hundreds of Dalit scholars are there to replace me.
Yeah.
I am essentially replaceable, right?
Right.
So let me try some other crap. So he's doing it.
Yeah. And he knows there's a market now. The right wing is now finally starting to read.
We are going to perhaps even to just criticize him. People are going to read his work, writings, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Now, where does Bourdieu come into all this? What are his views on status?
Now, Bourdieu never explicitly wrote much on the Indian caste, I won't say system, Indian caste hierarchies, because, he focused primarily on France and parts of Africa and all. Okay. He never really worked on India.
Yeah.
But what he said about France and those societies are pretty well applicable to the Indian thing. Okay. For example, let's say he's saying that you go to Paris, okay, you see what an immigrant or a lower class person eats, and you see what a French eats, a French aristocrat or a French upper middle class person is eating. Okay, Bourdieu took these very tiny things and said that dekho bhai, everything, our taste. So Bourdieu talks about cultural capital, social capital, symbolic capital. So वो वही बोल रहा है कि today it's more likely that an educated person will come from a kind of privileged background in the West. They will enjoy Mozart. They will not eat at McDonald's. Okay, they will eat at a very posh gourmet restaurant, right? They will eat less. Yeah. And these are all due to material differences. So a person coming from a middle class or lower class background will obviously eat more.
Yeah.
Because they have to work.
Yeah.
Right. Marie Antoinette can have one tiny grain of rice and survive very well, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And she can tell the poor people, why don't they eat cake?
Yeah.
But can a poor person survive on one tiny slice of cake? They need rice, they need loaves of bread, tons and tons of food.
Yeah.
So this Bourdieu is saying that these things create some objective differences. One is high culture, one is low culture.
Right.
Okay. So Bhojpuri music, because your para rickshawala listens to it,
therefore it's bad music.
Objectively low. Because the rickshawala listens to it, not because it is bad, it is inferior quality, right?
I want to clarify something. Yesterday I said something a little wrong. What I meant was exactly this. Yesterday when someone was saying that some languages are looked down upon even in Bihar. What I meant to say was that those languages are spoken by the low status people in Bihar, therefore they are looked down upon. So even Bengali will again gain respect or gain mainstream if Bengalis earn that respect. Bengalis are losing respect today
See,
because
Bengalis are losing respect because paisa nahi hai na. At the
yes,
end of the day, what Bourdieu and Weber both are saying
yeah,
are that without economic capital, you cannot support. You can't say that, bhai, I will listen to Mozart live. Mozart to mar gaya, but whatever. Like you want to go to a classical this
yes,
thing
Roshit Shunchi,
play,
yes,
and you don't have any money in your pocket. You can't
yeah,
support that consumption for very long. And Weber and Bourdieu both had one thing in common, that is,
hmm,
he- you know, that it's all about consumption,
hmm,
which is why खाना पे इतना problem है. मनुस्मृति बोलो, Brahmanical texts बोलो, you
hmm,
can't eat anything and everything.
hmm,
Okay, you can't
yeah,
eat with anyone and everyone. So
yeah,
people will think, oh, ये दलित के हाथ से खाना नहीं खा रहे हैं. हाँ, must be some religious thing. No, यार, it's all about, imagine, will the Queen Elizabeth, will she eat food if I offer her a Big Mac? Khao.
hmm,
हाँ.
hmm,
If I ever get to meet Queen Elizabeth, will she eat a Big Mac from my
yeah.
hands?
Now,
No,
Bengalis
right?
being poor and therefore losing status is kind of intuitive to what we were saying up until now. But there is a limit to everything, right? Bengalis
Yes.
can't go on becoming poorer and poorer and poorer and going to other states and earning money and going on saying that communism is great fucking thing. So there's a limit to that. Therefore, their respect is going down, and therefore the mainstreamness or the respect for Bengali language is going down. And plus, there are not enough consumers for Bengali art and culture. And plus, the Bengali art and culture is going on becoming more and more horseshit because of
So,
lack of money again.
yeah. So no, here there's an interesting thing. Why do elites support communism? Because communism gives no space for social mobility.
It solidifies the status quo on
It
top.
solidifies the status quo, right?
Hmm.
So Bengali upper caste bhadraloks, they love communism because in Calcutta, they get to act like the French intellectuals without having money. मतलब
Yes.
थोड़ा सा तो पैसा मिल रहा है ना. मतलब somebody works abroad, somebody works in Bangalore. When they come back, they go to क्या वो hi-fi clubs या पे जाते हैं, Calcutta club जाते हैं. हाँ.
Yeah.
But this is by virtue of them being slightly better off than the poorer Bengalis.
Yeah.
Then the refugees we spoke about, right? The refugee colonies where refugee में भी देखो, the Jadavpuri refugees, who are the biggest communists, and Motuas, who are also refugees, who are Dalits, who cannot afford basic food. Okay, look at the differences, right? So by logic of so what do typical Jadavpuriya upper caste communists say? Ki yaar whoever is a Sanghi is an idiot, whoever is Sanghi is a loser, right?
And they actively say that Sanghi is sort of a Bihari UP thing. They are absolutely being classist first and foremost. Caste to baad hi do.
Racist, classist sab ho raha hai. And even if a Bengali is Sanghi, I have seen many communist people, self-proclaimed communists, मतलब communist नहीं है, CPM का whatever. They are themselves upper caste. They have said, यार ये BJP तो पूरा भिखारियों का पार्टी है, मतलब ये दलितों का पार्टी है ऐसा. I have seen it. Okay. सब छोटो लोगদের पार्टी, ठीक আছে?
Right. Yeah.
So that word छोटो लोग. हाँ, छोटो लोग और भद्रलोक. छोटो लोग versus भद्रलोक. তোমরা, you people are superior because you have taste. You are able to afford a higher taste for music and arts and whatever makes you superior because you have kept everybody else poor. Right? So this is why elites in Bengal love communism. But yehi log abhi, when they are going to South, when they are going to Maharashtra, when they are going to Delhi, now no longer people respect them at that level. Which is why Calcutta meri jaan. Calcutta is awesome because Calcutta mein everyone, the rest of the people are poor. West Bengal e baki shobai eto gorib. So what happens is, by logic of relative deprivation, they become higher status, right?
Yeah.
They can have French food in West Bengal.
And the outsiders are the people in the other states are have finally had enough of them. Therefore, now I want to respond to something this Gujarati handle said even yesterday. He's saying that Bengalis are losing respect because of their arrogance, not money. Stop being such a Marxist. Well, they are What is the arrogance about? That you are poor as fuck in the state, your state is poor, but your arrogance is not ending. It would not be called arrogance if they were great at uplifting their state as well. So it's
Yes,
absolutely
yes.
associated with economics in the first place.
Acha, Jats are not arrogant. Yadavs are not arrogant.
Yeah.
Gurjars are not arrogant.
Yeah.
Sikhs are not arrogant.
Exactly.
Jat Sikhs.
Yeah.
Lingayats
No one has a
are
problem
not
with
arrogant.
them.
Or what?
Yeah.
Huh. So,
Now,
that's
this
the
question is very important. What Ninad is asking here. This is also the issue with some things having limit. He's saying that Gujaratis are also getting negative PR despite being rich. So he's saying this as an opposition to what we were saying about Bengalis, but this actually proves the status point again.
Yes, yes. So I'll give you the example of status
Yeah.
and castes. Like, dekho, status Ratan Tata versus Ambani. Ambani might be objectively richer than Ratan Tata, but Ratan Tata gets far more respect than Ambani because he is seen as some kind of, some kind of noble, right?
Yes.
So that's the thing. Like this is the difference between status or yahi hai. This is the main thing, right? About the what we're trying to articulate. Again, let's bring it back to what the topic was again. What is status and what is caste? They're essentially, Weber is identifying them as the same thing. And I would urge you all to read a person's writings called Murray Milner Jr.
Okay.
He was an American sociologist who wrote a lot on status. And he identified a lot of good things about, he identified these trends in India. That caste is essentially status group. He has a book called Status and Sacredness. Murray Milner Jr.
Fuck.
You can just write it down. Perhaps you can put it in your community post. Okay.
Yeah, I'll just check him out on Google right now.
Murray, Murray Milner, Milner, Milner Jr. Jr. Okay.
I see.
He died a few years ago. He wrote a book called Status and Sacredness.
Okay.
American sociologist. One of a very good sociologist, I might add.
I see.
Again, ye white admi, but he has done good work, right? Like Quigley, but slightly different.
Right.
Quigley is an anthropologist.
Yeah.
This person. Okay.
Right.
So he died in 2019. His book is Freak Geeks and Cool Kids. Okay. He wrote very interesting books. Elites and a general model. This one, Status and Sacredness, Freaks, Geeks and Cool Kids. Freaks or Geeks. Have you seen that series, Freaks and Geeks?
No, I've heard of it.
And status. American schools may be status system hai. That's what Murray Milner is saying.
I see.
So jocks have their own status
exactly
group. Nerds have their own
yes.
status group. Okay.
Yes.
And they are very endogamous. Matlab, jocks will marry this one.
Cheerleaders.
Don't
only
worry about the money. It is available in other ways. Okay. So,
jocks will only marry cheerleaders.
Yes, cheerleaders and wobi. Matlab, that's the whole point. Murray Milner is saying that these are similar to Indian caste. ये अलग कुछ बहुत अलग कुछ नहीं है. Or the way people eat, right, in India, commensality, right? The Brahmins have their own eating circles. The upper caste Kshatriyas, they will have their own eating circles and stuff like that. ये जो है, this is very common with the British nobility. With the American high status groups like Boston Brahmins and all. You really think American, a WASP family, white Anglo-Saxon Protestant elite, WASP elite, they will eat with some random koi abhi kha lega, abhi to sab woke ho gaya, but whatever. But hey, highlight this, to Jat or Gurja arrogance is seen as stupid and whatever. Yes, very good point. Anyway,
so the WASP people, the WASP elite will not. It's not about just white and black racism. They won't dine with a southerner farmer, someone from the Midwest, all those things.
Yes, they won't dine with a hillbilly,
right, or a redneck. And this also has to do with the nationalities who came to America first. The Irish or the British don't really like you, or used to not like the Germanic immigrants.
No, so if you guys read a book by Cleveland Amory,
Okay.
They have said that he was himself from a Boston Brahmin family. So by the way, the
Okay.
Brahmin is a pretty common term in America to
Fuck.
denote to wasp, elite wasps. Okay.
Holy
So there
shit.
was this book called what?
If someone has already coined the term Boston Brahmins, then is
Huh.
not that a like a mainstream admission that casteism is inevitable everywhere?
Yeah, Digby Baldwin wrote. Look up Digby Baldwin. Digby Baldwin, Digby Baldwin. He wrote Caste and Aristocracy in the U.S. or something like that. So he
Just
coined the term WASP, White Anglo-Saxon Protestant.
oh fuck.
Okay,
So
and
then after that, how is casteism being blamed just on Hinduism? Or are they using this logic to therefore say that casteism and racism is the same? Is Wilkerson on the same page with Balzel then?
no. Here's the funny thing.
Okay.
So according to people like Wilkerson or whatever, race to alag hi hai. Race to race is uh, race is all about your skin color and all that. So you could be a very wealthy and high status black person, but you would
Right.
still not be able to go on the first class of an
Right.
American. Matlab, jab segregation tha, you would still not be able to go to a first class kamra of a railway, right? In
Right.
America.
Yes.
So race is something else. Caste is
Right.
something else.
Hmm.
Or
Yes.
dekho, that is why these are very important to consider.
Hmm.
Caste and race are so a British noble wouldn't even talk to his white butler in a proper way, right?
Right.
So here are two books. The Protestant Establishment. This one, highlight.
Okay.
Just click on that.
Hmm.
This is a very interesting book. The Protestant Establishment. Okay.
Okay.
Aristocracy and Caste in America. That one.
Fuck.
And Gentle and Philadelphia Gentleman is also not a bad thing. Oh, no, not that one. This one, Puritan Boston and Quaker Philadelphia.
Right. Yeah, Quaker is absolutely a caste on endogamous fully.
तो वही मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि माने in Europe, so what he does in these books is he takes Tocqueville's term of caste, which Tocqueville used to describe तुम्हार the French nobility, and he said यार ये लोग क्या बोलते हैं ये लोग the French nobility, they became like like a bunch of Brahmins or like loser caste. Okay, in the sense loser caste मतलब ये लोग aristocratic जो warrior class है वैसा नहीं रहे. They became this very if you watch any movie about the French Revolution, you will see the French monarch and his like friends and stuff. They're all just lazing around playing chess, जैसे शतरंज के खिलाड़ी.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
people
yeah.
said, right?
Yeah.
Very similar. So
Yeah.
what Tocqueville said is they became a caste. They were an aristocracy. They became a caste, and Baldwin is doing the same thing with the American Protestant elite Protestants.
Right. Okay. I want to just make a point about the Tatas. See, also the family heritage is important, which is why Ratan Tata gets more respect than the Ambanis and the Adanis, because they are first generation billionaires, whereas Tata, we know of JRD Tata, so it's cooler to respect Ratan Tata. And signal theory is everywhere enmeshed with these things. You come across as a nicer person if you say good things about Ratan Tata. You also therefore don't have to get accused of being a commie, because after all you are saying good things about a rich person. But also you don't come across as the lowly Hindutva fascist person who only likes Adani and Ambani. And this is the same thing that happens in classical music concerts, which is annoying as fuck.
Yeah.
Most
if you
people
listen
keep
to
guessing
Lollipop Lagelu, you are inferior.
Right. You keep guessing the raga. Every fucking time, 90% of the people are not listening to the music and discussing what the fuck the rag is going on, and or they are calling up people. See, I'm listening to Rashid Khan right now. I'm at Doverland concert at the moment.
Yeah. Acha, I have a few comments here that I would like you to highlight, and let's address them a bit.
Wait, I just deleted that comment. Would you like to elaborate on that? This Jat and Gujjar thing.
No, it explains it in itself.
Okay.
Jat Gurjar are landowning castes, so they are seen as stupid people. But Bengali Bhadraloks, they are seen as some kind of geniuses just because somebody won a Nobel Prize sometime. Yeah. They also have the right to be unnecessarily proud. If you are proud of your Robindra Sangit, they are proud of being their Khatriya kuch bhi. They are rich. They have a right to be matlab kya bolte hai? They have a right to be proud.
Yeah.
If you are proud of some dude who won the Robindra Sangit, or kya the Bengali pride ka kya aur ek hai? Oh, most Bengalis went to Andaman. Okay.
Yeah.
So you didn't go, na? You didn't even go to Andaman to holiday because you don't have enough money. You're slaving away at TCS. So who are you to comment on why Gujaratis did not go to Andaman?
Yeah.
Gujaratis can buy Andaman. Okay, they can enslave you there for slave labor. That much money they have right now.
Yeah.
You have nothing.
Who funded Mir Jafar and collaborated with the British to kick out Siraj-ud-Dowla, the evil king? Jagat Seth.
Yeah.
He had the money.
Precisely.
So M. Shastri is saying, Mr. Sociologist, you should write a book on caste and combine the works of Dirk, Swigley, Weber and domestic academics.
Who knows? Ho bhi sakta hai.
Yeah.
Anyway, by the way, this one, I think M. Shastri is making some good points. WASP term alag hai. हाँ, ये archaic term. Yes, but it was coined in the early 1800s, the Boston Brahmin thing. And remember one thing, just because the British left America and Boston does not mean that the मतलब वो बोलते हैं अंग्रेज चले गए औलाद छोड़ गए.
Yeah.
So that literally happened in the US. A bunch of people who were British in their diet and their and everything.
Yeah.
Okay. In their fashion, diet, the way, the manners. If you watch that New York pe jo hai, the Gilded Age. If you watch
exactly. These are the New York and Boston elites. They are not the ones who go around hunting. They are not today's American right wingers.
Exactly. So these people are abhi inke descendants. They are all deep state people. Anyway, so my point is that these guys, they very much loved the term Brahmins because they thought of themselves as a erudite, this thing.
Scholarly person.
Erudite,
Pandit.
scholarly, superior, same as Bhadraloks, right? Except because they had plantations and they had a ton of money, they could back it up. We don't have that anymore, right? Okay. Anyway, so now, having said that, I think M. Shastri ke baad,
here's an interesting comment. Coffee is saying 1,000 years later, commies will say Dalits are superior class and Brahmins were persecuted by laws which Dalits made for themselves, like reservation. And if Brahmins found harming Dalit, were punished.
Maybe 1,000 years. I don't know if the world will live till then, considering global warming and all. But still, whatever said and done, I don't think that will happen so easily because again now, because of their numbers, sheer numbers, Dalits will not, nobody will mess with them among the Hindu community. Brahmins can be messed with because Brahmins don't matter on the vote. Na, mane, kitna, except UP, they have a very small vote share in other parts of this country. So nobody takes them seriously.
Yeah.
Except in Uttar Pradesh.
Yeah.
They have to team up with somebody like Mayawati for relevance. So it doesn't. Yeah. Anyway. So there's a comment by Dystopian Lad.
Okay. I'll get to that a little later. Neener is also making an interesting point here. He's saying that then this debunks Kushal Mehra completely.
Yes.
What using annihilating
Neener is a good student. Neener is a very good student.
I want to make a tweak to this comment though. Kushal did say that I want caste to be annihilated, but I know it will never happen. But what we are saying, kind of, at least what I believe, is that statusism or casteism is inevitable, but it is important to end the operations that are going on right now. We can't let the ongoing peeing in the mouth of Dalits go on just because another statusism will happen later. So it will be a continuous struggle against some kind of statusism or the other. Like in Bengal, Tollywood, you see all the Brahmins in all positions of power, or if not some Kshatriya. But in Mumbai, in Bollywood, there is not the Brahmin kind of hegemony and let's say power structures, right? There's not that kind of statusism in Bollywood, but everyone will tell you that there's some kind of statusism even in Bollywood. Maybe with you'll have to be good in Urdu and stuff. You'll have to associate with high class Ashraf Muslims. That kind of statusism is there. So there will be statusism, and there will have to always be warriors against statusism. But Also remember that Hinduism is not the only one to blame for it, and it will come back in other ways. But we also must end the oppressions going on right now. That's all.
I agree with your point, but there's another thing, a CST Act leke, that oppressions are being propagated against upper castes as well.
Yeah.
So now it is being reversed or even made worse in some ways. Now, yahi to hai na, the problem is that in a democracy, you will always pay attention to the quantity, not the quality, or not justice, only the votes, right? That's why men's rights ko leke, no, Modi ji does not care about men's rights. He only gives women 33% reservation and all that stuff, right? So that's the whole point. Like, it abhi to jo status hai, that depends on your numbers. Or let's see, I don't know, like, unless we can really so caste will never go away, ever.
Yeah. Yes.
Caste, the form it is, caste or status here, never will go away, number one. Number
Yes.
two is, if people with superior numbers like Dalits, they decide that we'll gang up together and control the vote share of Modi and make the SC/ST laws worse, the upper castes have really no other recourse but to team up and do something, right?
What is the population like? If the top three Varnas are they more in number than Dalits?
Yeah, Varna to firstly nobody. I don't believe in the Varnas, because Varnas were later on juxtaposed retrospectively, juxtaposed with Jati hierarchies.
Yeah. Yeah.
So forget the Varna thing. So if we talk about Brahman, Baniya, Khatriya, whatever, I don't know. Maybe that is around 50%, right? Or SC/ST Act, SC/ST Act. Whom does it actually screw? That we have to see, and whether these people can actually come together and do anything about it.
Okay.
Indian judiciary is like, or ye jo, as we are seeing, even the BJP is not interested in solving issues at the core, which is the problem. So
what is going on with the inactivity in Manipur?
Oh, I
There's
have no
absolutely
idea.
no action.
I have some idea, because there's inactivity in West Bengal as well. Now,
something very fishy is going on in world politics. I think
fishy
we
to
are in the middle of
hai.
some power games now.
No, fishy is there. Fishy, sab theek hai. The only sad thing is the price is always paid by Hindus. That is the sad thing. In every situation, whatever happens, we get screwed. we have nobody to care for us.
Savarkar
And
was
I
a
think it is
microcosm of
also
Hindu
us to
society.
blame. Abhi dekho, Babones is doing, Professor Babones is doing this one. क्या बोलते हैं उसको? He's doing a fundraiser, right?
Yeah, he's
मतलब Modi
setting up
and
a think tank.
his NRIs have no money to fund a professor who's actually trying to show India in good light. मतलब
Yeah, my channel
seriously.
viewers are donating. I shared it on Twitter. I shared it on my community tab. My viewers are donating. Okay, like young kids studying in
Or
college. And
NRIs in America who claim Hindu phobia, they will not fund even 2% of this guy, right?
No, the Hindu phobia people will probably fund, but the people funding the cricket leagues and stuff.
डेमोक्रेट के वोटर्स, हाँ,
Yeah,
वो लोग तो
they are the ones who will not fund.
अरे वो छोड़ दो ना, इंडिया में बहुत, अरे अदानी अंबानी रोज सुनता हूँ, who are these guys funding? That is my question. If they're not funding Salvatore Babones, who's a white guy who's established in academia, who's a tenured professor, if they're not funding this guy, who the hell are these guys funding? ये राजीव मल्होत्रा knows and he exposes it quite well.
Yeah.
But my point is, फिर मोदी को वोट देने से क्या फायदा क्या हुआ? I don't know. Right.
Well,
I don't understand. Stock market is high. That's the only maybe good thing that happened.
Yeah.
Other
Now,
than that, I can see.
Now the comment by Dystopian Lad. The fact is such systems no longer exist in West, whereas caste still plagues Indian society without much functionality. How true is this statement?
Absolutely problematic, because if the West has its own demons, as we know. Repeatedly, we've been saying we should study race and racism and whatever. Or racism, matlab ek tarfa racism against Asians is a big problem right now. Indian Americans are being killed every few weeks, right? Chinese Americans are being killed okay,
Hmm.
or being discriminated against, right?
Hmm.
तो उनमें तो और भी खराब है in different ways. Because of DEI, Asians again get the
Yeah.
the worst end of the deal.
Hmm.
वो तो है number one. Number two is it has no function in India. That's not true. See, what if you read Kanchan Chandra's book, Why Ethnic Parties Succeed? Okay, you all will know that the Dalits and all don't really vote because they are Dalits. They vote for benefits. They
Right.
become a collective and they say, I need this from the Indian state, right? So that's how these people vote. When people vote along caste, it's because they want more benefits from the state. This is as
Yes.
simple as that.
Yes.
And this happens because of socialism again.
Yes.
Because the benefits like roads, railways, basic amenities are not available to people. Healthcare, right? They are not available, so they become interest groups and they approach the government.
Yeah.
So ये तो तुम्हारा कांग्रेस इकोसिस्टम ने बनाया हुआ है.
Yeah.
This is pretty this thing.
Yeah,
Don't
and
look at
that
the
is why I'm so grateful to Ajit Bharti and all of them, the AKTK team, all of them basically discussing libertarianism without using the word, and they are so much more effective than actual so-called self-proclaimed liberals. What fucking waste of time their Twitter handles are. Every libertarian, 99% of libertarians I follow on Twitter, all of them are spending the entirety of their internet time just dissing Hindutva. It would almost seem they are paid to do this. All of their hatred is against Hindutva and BJP, who is directionally the least socialist. and whereas people like Ajit Bharti are setting the narrative without probably knowing the word libertarianism. They just know how economics work. What a beautiful podcast it was, the one I shared in my community section.
No, I agree with you. And actually, not just them. There are many regional language people who are trying to do these things, right?
Now, Prashant Kishore is saying the same thing. Vijay Sardana has been saying the same thing. Yeah.
Precisely.
Yeah. যে আসল লিবার্টারিয়ান সে বললে বাল ছিটছে বড় তো
these people are libertarians because they don't want to pay income tax. That's it. बाकी सब हिंदू कम्युनिटी भाड़ में जाए जो भी हो वो सब छोड़ो.
Yeah.
That is the difference.
Now Nandish Agri is asking, did the Great Depression, Second World War help blur the social hierarchy in US, especially among Caucasians?
It did so in England. I don't know about the US, perhaps in the US as well. It definitely did so in England. Okay. Because in England was the British gentry and middle classes and all, even upper classes though, for sure, they were much more endogamous before World War II. Okay. World War II ke baad the endogamy falls apart essentially. So World War II messed up a lot of stuff in Europe actually.
Yeah. Aju is saying even a traditional Chitpavan Brahmin today doesn't marry with Deshastha Brahmin, while both being Brahmins. Varna system itself is convoluted at present.
Varna hai hi nahi. Varnas were juxtaposed later, like in the Puranas and the Smritis, particularly the Smritis, I think. These were ranked differently. Even the Puranas, they were ranked. So kya bolte the na? Like, so how they did it was, let's say they say that Shaha, okay, your name everyone knows, so I'm using that as an example. They say Shaha is a product of Kshatriya and Vaishya intermarrying. Okay, there's a Shaha caste, so Kshatriya and Vaishya, Kshatriya man, Vaishya woman intermarry and produce Shaha. Now somebody who is a Brahmin and Kshatriya ka product, matlab Brahmin father, Kshatriya mother, uska product will be superior by logic to this. So by this ranking of, let's say, somebody like Mukherjee, because the father is Brahmin and the mother is Kshatriya, let's say, in some way. So Mukherjee is superior to Shaha because of the ranks. Now, these ranks, that when they were created, when the Puranas in Bengal and other parts, the Upa Puranas and the Puranas were written, the society had ranks because society was always unequal, right? So what they did was they used that rank. They said ki this guy is higher than that guy is higher. So they said that are ha ye sab to theek hai. Of course Brahmins are highest. They would obviously say it in their own books. It's not a crime again. So what they did was they ranked accordingly, and then they said कि ये जाति का mixture उससे है is because of that,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that जाति का mixture of that. Okay, so for example, if I am not mistaken, Nishad and Chandal. So I think Chandal is a product of Brahmin woman and Shudra man, the lowest and most polluted. And Nishada is the opposite, if I am not mistaken.
Okay.
But matlab, because they're Anuloma and Pratiloma, the Nishada can rise, the Chandala cannot. Okay. Now you might think that, Arey, what is this? But that means that they are ranking the Varnas through their ranking of Jatis. Okay. So the Varna hierarchy does not make much sense in reality because of that.
Right.
Which is why the obsession with Varna is very stupid, because Jati jab aata hai, then nothing else actually works on the ground. Okay.
Exactly what we found out from yesterday's not day before yesterday's Declan Quigley's paper. The insane conversation he had with Rajput. It was absolutely confusing.
There are so many ranks. Remember the Gop Sadgop Teli Tili cases, right?
Every village
कुछ भी बना रहा है.
Yeah.
मतलब like कुछ भी ऐसा हो रहा है.
In one village, Teli is saying we are not the same as Tilis, we are superior. In one village, Tili is saying we are not the same as Telis, we are superior. In some village, there is no distinction between Tilis and Telis.
Yeah.
Now, M. Shastri's... Yeah, go on.
No logic works that way, that's why.
Yeah. M. Shastri is saying Jati might go away, Varna might not.
I don't know why, but I think the opposite might just happen. Like Varna to kuch bhi hai, Jati. What Declan Quigley in his book has said is that dekho, your occupation is not your real identity. Why he's saying that is because, let's say a Brahmin becomes a businessman. Okay. But Brahmin to fir bhi thoda pride hai Brahman mein. So what he will do is, he will still say I'm a Brahmin.
Yeah.
So the Jati identity is not so easy to get rid of. Okay.
No, in this case, I think he means status when he says Varna, because we are equating the two.
यही तो problem है ना, Jati भी status है. Varna is just a classificatory scheme. Varna ranking status, this does not work in real life. Jatis are objectively powerful or poor or whatever, and Jati and Varnas were just classificatory schemes that classified a lot of things in the world. It classified gods and food and plants and animals and humans, everything. So Varna does not typically actually mean status in the sense that something like Weber is saying. Weber is saying that there's a Gemeinschaft of honor. There's an association of honor that links, like so Jats of a certain village will marry within the village. I have Winnie the Pooh, this idiot is going on making the stupidest comments.
Algorithm.
Kya algorithm, bhai? This guy is the dumbest guy I've seen, and Bangla Pokho really, this is what Bengalis have been reduced to. This is why we don't get respect.
Abhishek Banerjee will be CM in 26, so let's chill out. Let's just keep these people happy.
Happy kya karenge? These people are incels in the worst. Like, you guys are anyway, forget it. Bangla Pokho, see, today my caption is also that professional Bangla Pokho hater.
Yeah. Now, one thing I've always believed in, I think I might be wrong now, I realize that no Brahmin, no Rishi.
I have just one point to make, tiny point. Winnie the Pooh, the highest number of child marriages happen in West Bengal. Okay, first feel ashamed, then talk. And now please continue.
They're embracing their sexuality. They're embracing their baddies. So no Rishi, no Raja Manu could have ever suddenly one fine morning written a book and declared that from today Brahmins will oppress everyone and everyone will have to agree. Chalo bhai. So what I thought that what might have happened is that these status groups were already formed and someone codified them into law. And I think here a libertarian argument is very effective, that things should not be codified. It's inevitable anyway. There will be bad behaviors based on status anyway, but let's not codify them into law. And now what I realize is that even that codification is still going on with the SC/ST kind of acts. Isn't even, which brings me to my actually question that what is the relation between state and status?
This is a very interesting point when you point out that SC/ST का जो status है, that is given by the state, which was also the case for Brahmins when they got land grants, right?
Yes.
So what happens is the state, any state, like for example the Gupta state, right, or the Mauryan state, right, or Tudor England, right, or Tokugawa Japan,
right,
these states, even let's say the Ottoman Empire, they would often codify certain privileges for certain classes. For example, in Japan, the samurai were allowed to wear swords and use surnames. This was this was a privilege granted by the state. Brahmins could get land grants. Okay. So this thing, the British nobles, they would have a position at court, and they could they would be appointed to positions of government. So in the same manner, we even find in the Ottoman Empire people called the Sayyids, who would claim to be the descendants of the Prophet. Okay. And this status was actually granted by the state.
Descendants of the Prophet, or descendants of the people who were accompanying the Prophet?
No, of the Prophet also.
A
majority of them. And the interesting aspect is, there's a historian called Hulia Kanbakal who has worked on a process called Sayyadization, which is similar to Sanskritization in a weird way. So if somebody, let's say somebody is essential to the Ottoman state at one time, and they say that we need so the emperor and his people say that let's give these guys some concession. So what they would do is they would give them Sayyid title. So that means whether he's an actual descendant of the Prophet or not, that is unimportant.
Okay.
The state gives you that status.
Right.
Okay. So this is a thing called what Samuel Clarke, he's a historical sociologist. He's a brilliant guy. He studied European history, Western European history at like really well. So there are two historical sociologists I really recommend, Charles Tilly and this one, क्या बोलते हैं उसका नाम, Samuel Clarke. Okay. So Samuel Clarke calls this.
Which Samuel Clarke, who died in 1729, or someone much younger?
He's still alive. Samuel Clarke, sociologist. Just write historical sociologist Samuel Clarke, you will get it.
Okay.
Okay. So he has a book called State and Status and Distribution of Honors. Okay.
Nice.
So Samuel Clarke's theory can be applied broadly here. For example, if we look at France. Okay, yeah, that guy. No, not that guy. Go back. Click on the first link.
Yeah.
The first guy. Okay. So this guy. Yeah. So his book, that Distributing Status. Okay.
I see.
So what he says is that let's say in England, he compares England, France, and other countries, but I'll stick to England and France. Okay. So what he says is that England mein the gentry, the nobility and gentry are different. Okay. The upper level people, they are much more codified. Their privileges and rights are much more codified. So he says कि जो gentry थे, the countryside, the gentlemen, these guys were not really under the ambit of the state. Okay. And in France, most of the gentry and nobility, they were under the ambit of the state. So their status was guaranteed by the state in France.
Yeah.
But this was not the case in England. Okay. But what happens is, once the state is toppled in the French Revolution, then what happens is the state cannot grant status to you anymore, because the state does not exist in its earlier form.
Right.
But what happens in England is, because the gentry are so embedded in the rural areas and they are so powerful with land, nobody topples them, and many of them become capitalists. So caste is not an impediment to capitalism. This is another thing. Capitalism may persist even without caste, even with caste and without caste. Okay. So
In this
Weber
case,
was
you
asking a
mean,
very interesting question.
in this case, when you say capitalism, you don't really mean free markets, right?
Well, free market may be a more slower natural progression of things.
Yeah.
But of course, yes, free market kabhi tha nahi. Before, let's say, 20th century, there was nothing
Of
even
course.
close to the free markets.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So
it was
we
always
cannot
crony
really-
socialism.
Let's get back to the point.
Yeah.
So there were two revolutions. There are actually many revolutions, but let's say we take the Tokugawa, the Meiji Restoration, which is M. Shastri's favorite topic.
Yes.
So what happened is, because the samurai status was guaranteed by the Tokugawa state, when the Tokugawa state was toppled by the lower status samurai,
Okay.
then what happened is the status was lost because the state guaranteed your status. Right.
Okay.
But imagine if they were like the Brahmins of India or the Jats or Yadavs, whose land gives them status, and not
Right.
land and other non-state projects. So let's say the Sena government, okay, in Bengal, around roughly 1136 to 1203, when the Sena government was there, the Sena dynasty or Shen dynasty, who were again Bangla Pakko people should drive them out, because these people were from South India,
Karnataka. Yeah.
Karnataka. So when the Senas gave Brahmins a ton of land grants, the Pals and the Sens, right? Then what happened is the Brahmins became dominant landowners.
Yeah.
But their status, their ranks were not essentially completely guaranteed by the state. They became feudal lords in different parts of the land. So when Khilji took over the Sena Empire in 1203, he did not. So firstly, he did not kill everyone. He left some people alive for the functioning of bureaucracy.
Yes, exactly.
So these guys, then they remained bureaucrats. So some of them were a part of the state, but their status was guaranteed by their land, not by the Khilji. Never said, I declare you a Brahmin. No. They remained Brahmins because some of them did own land and privileges.
Yeah.
Or Kaestos owned land and privileges. So they remained powerful despite the state going. But the French nobility, which was already being impoverished slowly, and the French did support the American Revolution, so they became poorer. And the Japanese nobles were poorer, and their status was not their status was mostly guaranteed by the state. So when the French state and the Japanese state fell in the 19th centuries, then the status that the state guaranteed, samurai or noble, these also got screwed. Right.
Yeah. Now, when therefore when Khilji hires these people in the bureaucracy, that's when they start getting the surnames with Dar, right? Mojumdar, Shikdar, Talukdar, etc.
Possibly. And not just Khilji, like many other Islamic rules. So Islamic rule from 1203 to, let's say,
of course,
1757 roughly in Bengal.
They did not have enough people to run the government. They always needed to collaborate with Hindus.
Yeah, because puncture wala na. So my point is that puncture wala raja ban gaya. But they always needed Kaestos and Buddhis and Brahmins for their administrative work. And these guys, so them getting titles was a thing. Theek hai. Let's say somebody is Khan, okay, because they serve a Islamic lord. Good for them. But that means that they became they did not become Khan, matlab Muslim nahi ban gaye. They will say, I am Khan, but I am a Kaesto. I am a Kulin Kaesto, right? Or I am a Kulin Brahmin, right? So wahi hai.
Yeah.
No, the Sena kings did not divide Bengali society into. This was done during the, if I am not mistaken, Kunal Chakraborty, another leftist. He has written a book called. He has written a book on Puranas, the Bengal Puranas.
Okay.
So the point is that the Sena kings did not divide it per se, but the Sena kings did patronize Brahmins a lot. The Brahmins earlier, they used to write the Upapuranas, of Bengal. So the Upapuranas, these divided Bengali society into Brahmin versus Shudra. So there are no Khatriyas or Vaishyas here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
technical, according
yeah,
to Brahmins.
yeah. And weren't the Bhattacharyas also brought from Karnataka by the Senas?
हाँ, वो तो है, मतलब the Senas did the highest, gave the highest number of land. So this was also that. See, same old. If Brahmins were anti-immigrant, whatever Bangla Pakho is now, right? Um, let's say uh, if they did not participate with the Senas when they came here, if they did not
Yeah.
participate, help various kings like the Mollo Rajas, right?
Yeah.
Then those guys would not have patronized them, na? They were
Yeah.
not, they weren't dumb, right? So they did propaganda for them, for the kings.
Yes.
They
Yes,
ran
and
big temples.
everyone's not going to be
Okay.
Savarkar. Everyone will want to collaborate with the power structures. Why did Raja Rammohun Roy learn Farsi? It's always taught to us like it's a gigantic achievement, as if he learned Farsi as a fucking hobby. He learned Farsi to get a job in the Islamic courts.
Yes. And the British used Persian for a very long time.
Yeah.
The British East
Okay.
India Company used to hire baniyas.
Yes.
And these baniyas were basically, they knew Persian, so they had the old
Yes.
Hisab Kitab.
Right.
And that was their job कि थोड़ा इंग्लिश सीख लेता है, थोड़ा पर्शियन,
Yeah.
बहुत पैसा है, पैसा ही पैसा होगा
Yeah.
पूरा. These guys when the British came, सभी बोले पैसा ही पैसा होगा.
उस फील्ड
Like
में
Akshay
स्कोप
Kumar.
अच्छा है.
Scope अच्छा है.
So here Coffee is saying your money, pour money into leftist universities is best way for us. Leftist is capitalistic based, not ideal based. Ever thought how LGBTQ supports Islamists? Yeah. Equality labs.
No, there is a problem because देखो, Hindu ecosystem does not spend money, like I said. Number one. Number two is हमारे पास उतना है भी नहीं. The Arabs and all these, the Chinese Arabs, these guys fund crores, billions, trillions. Okay.
Yeah.
हमारे पास उतना है नहीं. So when these people get higher payments from wages from those guys, they will just do it. Okay. So what can we do? हम क्या कर सकते हैं? लगा अभिमन्यु, हम क्या कर सकते हैं? We can't do shit. Okay. We can just tell the BJP and RSS कि भाई, stop being stupid and fund people with brains to do your job, do the propaganda for you, fund a new class of Brahmins, like a new class of criminal that Joker said, burn the money, find a new class of criminal. Same shit, burn the money on us. Give me if you have extra, but fund a new class of intellectuals, otherwise कुछ नहीं होगा. मोदी 240 से 24 हो जाएगा. Anyway.
Yeah, we'll get to that in the end of the podcast. Now, Dystopian Land is asking a direct question to you. How come in Bengal it is considered that there are only two castes? I mean, who gets to decide what caste one community is?
No, there are two varnas technically. Caste तो बहुत सारे हैं. That is the fun thing. So varnas में जो ranking, like I said, ये जो rank है, the Shot Shudro, Ashot Shudro, and so these were based on three ranks: Uttam Shankar, Madhyam Shankar, Adham Shankar. So Brahmins used to say we are the purest varna, because we have no intermix, but they used to also marry people of lower castes for dowries, women of lower castes. So when they ranked Kayasthos and Buddhis, now Kayasthos and Buddhis were really powerful. They were landowners, right? So what they did was, Kayasthos and Buddhis, they ranked as Shudras, but they can't say, "Arey bhai, you are the same as others, right? Koivarto, Mahisho, whatever." By the way, I think RS is asking a lot about the Mahish shows. I have to do more research on that. There is some dude who did research on Mahish shows. I keep forgetting. You can just Google this thing. Okay. So anyway, so let's say Gondo Bonik, Shorno Bonik, these are also Shudras. This one, Kayasthos and Buddhis are also Shudras. This one is also Shudra. Tumar ki bole? Shod Gop, Tili, whatever, right? Other castes, Maisho, Koivarto, many castes, hundreds of castes, right? They are there. So Brahman ने बोला कि भाई ये सब शूद्र है. But if we like you, you can come up to Shot Shudra. If you pay us enough money, we can make you Shot Shudra. So you are right below us, technically.
Okay. I saw that. Mahishra Ratnaboli, Uma Senapati, and Dr. Dulal Krishnadas. Did you mean this one?
No. This is there is a new guy. Anirban something.
Okay.
Anirban Banerjee, some Anirban dude. He
Okay.
has
Okay.
done work. Just like Anirban Mahisho, you might get something. Anirban Mahisho historian.
Okay.
He has done historical work on the Mahishos. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
कायस्थोस आर कायस्थो शूद्र है कि नहीं इसमें एक
Hmm.
there is a huge paper on this. Hayden somebody wrote a paper on this. Okay.
Okay.
They
I
had to go
found an
to court.
article by.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Go
yeah.
on.
They went to court to challenge. So the judges said that according to this guy, just see the name. Just see
Yeah.
the
It's
name.
written by Anirban Bandyopadhyay.
Yes, this guy.
Hmm.
So he's done his PhD on the Mahishos.
Okay,
I
let
think
me
you
just
can
read
find
this
what
blurb, this subheading. What is he saying? Mamata Banerjee's TMC has promised OBC reservation for the Mahisho caste in its manifesto for the West Bengal Assembly elections. JP Nadda too had made the same promise during a campaign speech. The election campaign has once again restored the centrality of Mahishos to politics in Bengal. Who are the Mahishos? I have never heard of this caste.
Mahisho, are in Mednipur.
Oh, so why? How are they in the spotlight all of a sudden?
They have a very large number.
Okay,
They have like, if I'm not mistaken, they have like 70-80 lakhs, if I'm not mistaken, which is big, which is a very huge number if you consider.
So they so up until now they did not seek let's say or vote on the basis of their caste. Now they are planning to. That's why they are all of a sudden important.
They were proponents of Hindutva quite a while back
I
in the
see.
day, basically. Mednipur
see.
was the land of Bengali, nationalism, Hindu nationalism in Bengal, right?
Because it was always a
Bangla Pakko losers. They were all in Calcutta doing nothing. Okay.
yeah.
So anyway.
Wherever there is a high Muslim population, that's where Hindutva always thrives, right? Mednipur, the name came from some Madni. Madnipur से distort होके मेदिनीपुर नाम बना था उसका.
No, Medini means ground. I don't know.
No. It
Anyway.
came from a certain Maulana Madni.
अरे भाई ये आर्यन हिंदू कौन ये कहाँ से आ जाते हैं ये लोग
My algorithm.
All I'm saying is, you see, it's not Shudra or this or that. Indian Hindu community was always more fluid than it is given, credit for. Okay. Shivaji bhi to Shudra the. वो कौन सा, he is one of our biggest heroes among the
which is why even commies like him.
Yeah. Commies don't really like that. क्या बोल रहे हो भाई?
I have a commie. I have a Bengali book written by a communist from CPIM. I bought from the CPIM bookstall during Durga Puja.
Wow.
Yeah. He is apparently a fierce proletariat anti-caste superhero, Chhatrapati Shivaji, according to the communist interpretation. So, and who apparently kept Brahmins in check.
Oh, wow.
So M. Shastri is saying, Mr. Sociologist, how do we get you to write a book? How do we help you publish it?
Let's see. See, the problem is if a scholar, I hope I am one, publishes a book with a kind of company which is non-academic, like what Sanjay Dikshit is trying to do, or Garuda.
Yeah,
they are not taken seriously in academics anymore.
Yeah, look at Shomoday's book. A JNU fucking PhD. His book is coming out of Vitasta publication.
Not just JNU PhD. He is one of the best modern historians we have right now in India. Okay?
Yeah, and he has expertise in every goddamn era.
भैया मोदी जी तो इसको नौकरी नहीं दे रहा है.
Yeah.
I don't know. He should be made the HOD of Delhi University or JNU. एक तो बंगाली है शायद देगा भी नहीं. I don't know. I have no idea why not. तो उसको विश्वभारती में घुसा दो, कुछ तो करो, right? So my point is, इसको पहले तो चांस नहीं देते. Second, because of his views, no mainstream academic publisher like Routledge and all are giving him a chance.
And his books cost just 500 rupees.
Brilliant books on history. बंदे को चांस नहीं मिल रहा. Right. अच्छा, MS has this thing. MS has a good question. MS नहीं, ये MS तो मैं हूँ. Dystopian lad. Actually, MS is not my name now. I keep forgetting. Anyway. So
okay. Dystopian Land is saying, why the fuck would Brahmins categorize everyone else as Shudra? Isn't that humiliating to other castes?
Arey bhaiya. It's the same way as how the British gentry and samurai and all these people ranked people. Ranks
so we are not saying we are not making a quality judgment here. We are not saying it's good or bad. We are saying it's inevitable and therefore solve it like it is inevitable. Let's not solve it like it's a problem with Hinduism.
लोग एक term बोलते हैं ना छपड़ी. You might not be
Yeah,
from
chapri.
Chhapra.
Yeah.
People look at your hairstyle, look at your clothes. KTM चलाते हो Duke high speed में,
Yeah.
तुमको छपड़ी बोल देंगे. ठीक
Yeah.
है. Now the thing is, I am looking down on that person clearly.
Yeah. But
for some
chapri is
reason.
actually a caste. Chapri is actually a lower caste.
Yeah,
Mawali is a lower caste.
exactly.
Keoda is a lower caste.
Yes,
These became galis. So we know evil things have happened.
that's the
Just
whole
like today,
point.
Bihari is a gali.
And you think Brahmins only ranked? Shudras, many Shudras called
Yeah.
Brahmins impure. Okay, and they also did not want to talk to Brahmins. They would consider Brahmins as polluting, right?
Yeah. Yeah, in the Nicholas Dirks paper, we learnt of some places in South India where if Brahmins walk,
Nah,
they
Gupta,
throw
Gupta.
Gaumutra.
Gupta, Dipankar Gupta.
Oh, okay, Deepankar Gupta. Yeah.
Anyway, let's do we do audience or do audience interactions or what do we do?
Yeah, audience interaction would, of course, everyone would be excited about it. I wanted to just take one more question. I lost it. Wait, I'll just look for it a little bit. The previous one, I think it was by Nandish Hegde. Yeah, Nandish was asking, I remember the question. He was saying that I never knew that someone from Karnataka went to Bengal. Yeah.
Went nahi, they ruled Bengal.
Yeah. Oh, and someone asked, I think Nandish only asked that, how did the Sena dynasty end? They all of a sudden disappeared into thin air. That's what happens when someone doesn't leave a good enough descendant. That's what happens with all kings. But at least the Senas and Palas...
They weren't prepared for the Turkish invasion, which is true for many.
Yeah, which no one was. Yeah.
So, wo alag baat hai.
And Nandish is saying here that even Tipu Sultan descendants were moved to Kolkata. Yeah. Tipu
That
Sultan
was colonial politics. That was colonial politics.
Right. Yeah.
That happened like 600, 700 years after. Yeah.
Which therefore technically makes entire Kolkata walk of land, right?
अच्छा है, सही है.
Yeah.
So
it actually is.
What about all the plots in Harish Mukherjee Street? Anyway, are those walk of land?
It is. Entire Kolkata is supposed to be walk of land.
Nice.
Because that was the rule, no? That all the Muslim kings' lands will go to Waqf board.
और मोदी जी ने उसको भी नहीं हटाया भाई, क्या यार, छोड़ो.
Yeah, and today so Maharashtra government donated some 10 crores to Waqf board, and Bhiku Matre Twitter handle is saying, no, it was not the fault of BJP, Ajit Pawar did it. Ab kya kare? Joyita Chakraborty is saying, you can't remain a communist if you have read Marx wholeheartedly. Sometimes I feel that Alimuddin Street is a deep state project.
Gio, my absolute admiration for the person who wrote this comment, Joyita ji. Absolutely right. And that goes for every ye jo environmentalist, Greta Thunberg type people are there. All the people protesting about against Indian factories, Indian capitalists. They've always been plants, foreign plants and agents. That's the one thing that we need to get into the minds of people. Abhi bhi people think that leftists are some kind of gods, angels or something. We need to make them understand that leftists just work for the highest bidders, just foreign bidders, because they pay in dollars.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, someone is asking, will we see consolidation of 30%? What is GC? Ground or?
Yeah, the general caste.
General caste. After JUH.
What is JUH?
No idea. Will we consolidate and demand our pound of flesh from the government? After JUH, caste is here to stay for another 300 years at least, not going away.
What is JUH?
Judicial something. Okay, elaborate on what is JUH. Okay.
We'll take another question. Yeah. Will you review Karpatri Maharaj someday? Like from... I haven't read much about Karpatri Maharaj. I have to read more, to be very honest.
Okay.
Is he the guy who says he dropped the Babri? That guy?
No, I don't know. But all I know is that LK Advani decided that he was so casteist that he can't collaborate with him. He had plans of collaborating with him. So from then on, Karpatri Maharaj has created a political party who fights elections against BJP. I think Ram Rajya Parisangh or something.
इनका same these trads. They have that
No, but
one.
he is
But
actually
bhai,
very.
but I can't blame them at this point. What's happening in Bengal? I can't really blame any trads anymore. क्या हो रहा है?
Yeah.
और जिसके आबादी उसका हक.
Oh, अच्छा. जितना आबादी उतना हक.
Oh, हाँ हो
Okay.
सकता है. Why not?
So Ninadi saying
But do
Karpatri
you
Maharaj.
think people who are general category, who typically are working jobs, who are getting screwed by the anti-men laws and everything, right? You think they will actually take time off and from their work and everything and actually protest against the government? No,
Okay,
highest
Winnie
child
the Pooh
marriage is
has
in Bengal, West Bengal.
every
I
data.
have checked official data, Baba. बच्चा तुम गोरगो के पास जाओ
अरे
थोड़ा
तो
दूध
की
पी।
होय अरे
हाँ।
let's keep these people happy. Since Modi ji would do
I
Brahmin
don't
Bhojan.
care. See, your face is being seen. I can run away
Yes,
anytime.
I have massive respect for Abhishek Banerjee. He is the future CM in 2026.
वो
So
मेरा भी है. I am also highly respectful of. I respect Abhishek Banerjee because he played a game with Modi and Amit Shah. And
yeah, actually, jokes apart, instead of complaining, respecting is one way to go about it because they played complex politics. They won. Why shouldn't we learn or respect the winners in this case?
Yeah.
Who asked you not to play those? Like yesterday, our guest was saying that.
No,
See,
that's the whole thing, right? If it's
see the border security force are fed bad information. तो हम क्या करें?
भाई एक कर ही ले एक थोड़ा गूगल निकाल और देख ले highest अच्छा we'll do it later. I don't want to pander to these idiots. Anyway.
Yeah.
हाँ.
Okay, now we are opening this up. Okay, if anyone wants to join the conversation and ask questions directly.
I am not answering anything by Bangla Pokhis, okay? I am telling you in advance. I don't care about you people. You can collect your paychecks from Jamaat later. I don't care. Anyway.
Okay, I'll have to pin this, no? Okay, I'll pin it. Wait, let's see what he's saying. Only thing that actually have worth. Okay, M Shastri is already here. The anti-Hindus are stealing it by missionaries and Waqf board. No matter whatever we are doing well, are losing millions. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. M Shastri. So quickly, let's get to the questions. Okay. We have just about 10-15 minutes more.
Yeah. So how? Two questions, right? How do we get you to write a book? Right. We can give you money. Maybe we can get you published. We can maybe
No.
you do a book tour.
Dude, one thing I'll tell you, it's not just about money. It's about
status.
It's about status. Yeah, true. It is about status, caste. So academia may you have to, like I said, to get respect, right? You have to publish in a mainstream this one
journal.
A mainstream journal or
publication
or
house
publisher, right? Which are academic publishers. So Routledge and Wiley or Sage and these books, these companies. Now these people, they will do it only if you toe the line of the left. वो भी कर सकते हैं. That can be done, but it's not about just paying them money. It's honestly about doing good work, which kind of hides your true intentions. But ये Quigley को देखो ना, Quigley did publish the highest. West Bengal में child marriage का rate क्या है? ये देख लो थोड़ा. West Bengal child marriage, just Google.
But mysterious sociologist.
Anyway.
I think.
Now Winnie the Pooh was saying Bihar. Now it's Jharkhand. So everyone is getting different results from Google, right?
Post shift हो रहा है भाई.
But mysterious sociologist. I mean, it's not just about books, right? We need authors, we need columnists, we need writers, right?
Yeah.
So if you don't start writing a book, then how do we make you into a columnist? How do we make you into a writer, right? And it shouldn't be just Kushal Mehra who writes on a libertarian, Western libertarian publication like the Quillet, right? You should also write about it. I mean, that's what I mean. Like,
I would love to. My whole day, as you see, I was not when I was describing all these histories and all that, this is because I read about all this. That's my job, to do research and teach and write, right? But the problem is that Modi ji and all, they don't fund the right people who
No,
will do this kind of
वो सब ठीक है. That's all tangential issue. वो
fund.
मोदी
मतलब
को
देखो, job चाहिए, job है,
हाँ
ये है.
हाँ
Now
हाँ.
if
No, नहीं,
that kind of thing.
that's fine. While you're looking for that job, while we are trying to get Modi ji to think in a particular way, because again, you're fighting with government of India, which is a huge beast in itself. उसको है ना, वो भैंस की तरह है. जब तक
Exactly.
तू भैंस को तू वो स्पाइक्ड लकड़ी के साथ तू लाठी के साथ तू मारता नहीं है, भैंस ये नहीं करता है, राइट? हिलता नहीं है.
True.
सो 2024 का भैंस की तरह हम लोग ने मोदी जी को मारा है. अभी उसको इंट्रोस्पेक्शन करना ही करना है, जरूर करना ही करना है, राइट?
Exactly.
So we can forget about, we can keep that aside for a moment, but we still need more writers and more columnists and more everything everywhere, right?
No,
So,
you see, M. Shastri, the
Honestly,
way
if I got 2
casteism,
crore rupees, I could do this all day. But the point is,
the way
if I had a public position,
casteism works in academia is that once he brings out a book from Garuda, his career is basically done. He'll never again be taken seriously by Routledge or Brill.
नहीं,
So he has to first.
नहीं, तुम लोग एकदम स्पेसिफिक चीज के हिसाब से देख रहे हो, राइट? मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ कि इकोसिस्टम बनाना है, राइट? इकोसिस्टम कैसे बनाएंगे? So
that has to happen after he has some books from Brill or Routledge.
You want a new Bengali Kushal, new Bengali whatever, Sham Sharma, people. What we are doing on a better, on a higher scale, right?
Yeah, exactly. But it doesn't have to be a book.
Okay.
अभी क्या है कि let's take Quillette, right? Quillette is a libertarian, Western libertarian publication. उसका क्या है कि they have free open submissions. You send them an article with really good sources, and they'll pick you. They'll probably editorialize it left here a bit, here and there. But if you don't start writing in those journals, I mean, I'm not just saying कि Quillette में लिखो. We can start our own publication as well. But कुछ तो करना चाहिए. Right? We can't just wait for a bhas like government of India to finally turn things around and do something.
Yeah, but without them, it's.
I mean, let me put it this way, right? भाजपा
Now, then I
को 303 मिलने के बावजूद भी वाकफ ऐप ने निकाला.
Exactly. So, dude, one thing, because I don't want to call you M. Shastri because it may be a fake name, I don't know. My point is that if I do write a ton and whatever I can, okay, I know people who write really well, who do really good discursive work, right, on Hindutva, who are serious scholars on Hindutva. None of these people will be able to show their faces like me.
No, that's fine. ना pseudonym के अंदर लिख तो सही. तुम लोग कुछ कर नहीं रहे हो, and then all you do is just complain.
No, we are doing this podcast. How do you know we're not doing? That is the fun thing. How do you know I am not publishing stuff on the side? How do you know that? We are trying our best.
Somebody needs to share those things, right? I mean, there's two one is creating content.
हमारे level पे निगाजन है.
नहीं. One is creating content and the other one is disseminating them, right? कोई डर के मारे कोई content ही नहीं create कर रहा है, and then we are worried about dissemination. ये थोड़ी ऐसा चलेगा, right? So
therefore,
here's my frustration. I don't have. See, I come from a very STEM background, so physics, chemistry, these are my strong points. मेरे पास sociological background नहीं है. I have an immense curiosity for history. मेरे को regional history बहुत अच्छी तरह से मालूम है, and I know my culture. I come from a very orthodox family, so मैं अपने आंखों से देखा है, सामने से मैं देखा है, right? But मेरे पास उतना मेरा writing skills भी बहुत horrible है. So when I see young guys like you, and I want you to write. I don't want you to be afraid of. ठीक है, थोड़ा self-serving consequences के हिसाब से you can be afraid, but work around it, right? I mean, ठीक है, you're worried about you getting ostracized by broader academia right under a pseudonym. make a name, make a publication, make friends, make that
Mystery of
support
Sociologist
system.
publication, at least 50-60 people will to buy.
Yeah.
We could work on something. I actually told Neerajan on numerous occasions that we should write some stuff. And
Yeah.
honestly, I am doing as much academic work as I can in this, so that we have more references and stuff. So wo sab chal raha hai.
Yeah.
But I am telling you what is frustrating, that a leftist scholar can teach 100 students, be open about what their views are.
They can openly say Kashmir does not belong to India.
Yes, and their thing will be published and retweeted and and cited and everything.
Yeah.
Whereas
New York
the
Times में
moment
columnist बन जाएगा.
Whereas the moment I ever do open my mouth and face and people know who I am, my career is over completely. Right? My career is finished.
नहीं, but we can support you, right? अभी see ecosystem
तुम
बनाना
देखो, the one
जरूरी
thing is,
है. नहीं, ecosystem बनाना जरूरी है. Right? अब थोड़ा बन
not
रहा है.
everyone will be like you, na. Not everyone will be magnanimous like you.
Yeah, because Salvatore Babones is not getting funds.
Salvatore Babones को भीख मांगना पड़ रहा है भाई. Do you understand how horrible it is?
हाँ, but why वो क्यों GoFundMe में जा रहा है वो फिर? वो crowdsource क्यों कर रहा है वो funds के लिए?
Because no one is funding it otherwise. The actual rich people are not funding. People like
no. Forget all that.
Does Ben Shapiro need to do this thing?
Hold on. एक Ambani he funds ORF, Observer Researcher Foundation, right? और उसका भी see when you have big donors like Ambani, they're not doing it out of magnanimity for the greater good of the nation. वो उसका एक business है. He has his own. He'll give you some independence, but primarily there are red line agendas that you cannot cross, right? So ORF only exists partly because Ambani wants the Indian state to exist, wants the Indian state to be stable, wants the Indian state to be strong, so that his business will thrive.
True.
Right? Baki sab side effects hai, but primarily he wants his business to thrive, right?
Yeah.
So when you go for big donors like that, tere paas you will have those red lines all the time, right? Where there's leverage, they will push those leverages. Ambani can't do that with Harvard. क्योंकि क्या है कि Harvard में क्या है कि he's 1 in 200, 300, 400 people. He's not unique. But in ORF, he is the top dog. Right? So that's one thing. The other thing is like when Salvatore Babones is crowdsourcing, ठीक है, मैं तो डाला हूँ उस पे. I've given him $200 because I want that initiative to grow. एक endowment बन जाएगा ना, then you have stability of funding. I mean, sure, it's not ideal that Ambani is not funding into it, but it's not bad that he crowdsourcing नहीं हो रहा है, right? I mean, we should actually be supporting that. As an NRA, we should be supporting that. But either way, it's the battle. The way I see it, right? The battle is fought in various classes. एक high class है जो राजीव मल्होत्रा, वो Infinity Foundation सब कर रहे हैं. उनको करने दो. But we also need middle rung people, right? I mean, our society is essentially like what we are fighting is a middle class fight. So unless if you have smaller publications, smaller writers, smaller columnists, saying stuff, writing stuff, publishing stuff, we will never win this fight. And this kind of fragmentation is also happening everywhere. Small writers actually hold more opinions than all these columnists do. There's been massive distrust in columnists. So this is what I'm saying.
The only problem I have with what you're saying is...
No, I'm saying you should... I'm saying...
I agree now has 100%. But my point is that I have already, stuck out my neck, risked a bit on my part. The problem is slightly different. What you're not getting is I have a family to take care of. I actually need a ton of... Now I can't depend on M. Shastri for all this, right? Like, I'm being honest. How much can you, how much will you ever be able to give, right?
And for how long?
The government of India, precisely how long? The government of India, whose on whose seat a Hindutva guy is apparently sitting, he can, left ने तो वही किया ना, left ने इनको ऐसे setup किया है कि they are now funded for generations. Like the leftist academics, they have
No,
earned
but
so much money.
you don't understand one thing. How did that start? It was just seed money that was given to him, right? Marx had a big...
अरे नहीं, इनको government positions पे बैठाया है, which are permanent. That's what I'm saying.
With government money, with public money, not with benevolence.
हाँ, वो सब ठीक है. You can still fight against that. But
no, you can't fight the government. The government is the biggest mafia in the country.
नहीं. वो सब महाराष्ट्र में किया है. It's not an easy fight. It's not an easy fight, but you can change the government from the inside. Maharashtra में सब see.
That's what I am saying.
Despite all the UPA shit and all that, they tried to suppress Savarkar in Maharashtra. Right? They tried to suppress Savarkar in Maharashtra. Society just pushed back massively. I mean, to imagine like Maharashtra Public Service Commission exam pe, you have to learn Savarkar. You have to learn Savarkar. You cannot, Maharashtra mein rehke, you cannot avoid Savarkar.
Yeah.
This is despite UPA doing all kinds of shenanigans to suppress the guy.
Yeah.
Right? Society can push back, middle class can push back, you can push back against government.
In West Bengal, the middle class is the most unreliable. देखो, एक तो है we are bongs, okay, so वैसे ही हमको support नहीं मिलता है. यहाँ का लोकल तो मिल छोड़ ही दो. हाँ, वैसे भी
नहीं मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ कि हम देने के लिए सीड मनी देने के लिए तैयार है, to get you started तैयार है, but we need to build that platform. बस उतना ही मैं बोल रहा हूँ.
See, honestly, it's not that I don't write, it's not that I don't try to do stuff. We are trying, many of us are trying in the backdrop. We have to perhaps do it on more popular platforms and stuff. Let's see. We can discuss this later. Let's discuss this beyond the podcast later. I think I'll take one question more and let's maybe
okay, I'll disconnect, but I want to
thank you. But thanks for your advice, and honestly we can discuss this, perhaps Neerajan, you or me, we can discuss this at a later time. Okay. See.
Thanks, M. Shastri. Okay, now Coffee is saying he's right. Government has set up institutions like JNU, which is immovable, and now they have legacy of left narrative peddling so much that even to pass or get position, you have to be lefty.
Yes, that's what I was talking about precisely. कि एक JNU ने, इन लोगों ने JNU को तो मतलब कुछ भी नहीं किया. Basically, they don't have their own version of JNU either. They could have done it.
Yeah, and you see the Savarkar point
they
is...
can make Shyama Prasad Mukherjee University. They can make Savarkar University. They can make it a government funded proper. Nalanda में क्या गंद फैला रहा है Nalanda में, हाँ.
Okay, Nalanda तो I heard that it's going to be just a social science university and they're going to
social
just
science for किन को have you checked the roster?
No,
all India hitting losers. Okay, losers भी नहीं, winners, because Modi ji is personally funding them now. So my point is, this is all rubbish. Okay, this is why it's frustrating to talk about Hindutva after a Hindutva government has been in power for 10 years and you still don't have people putting people, not just me. I'm not even talking about me. I know serious scholars, okay, like Shumode and many others who have not been funded by the government. अरे government funding नहीं मिलेगा, तुमको खत्म कर देंगे. Tomorrow if Modi is gone from power, then first thing the Congress will do is destroy your life.
Yeah, Rajiv Malhotra is only surviving because he has that retirement money from the time he used to work as in the IT sector.
अरे फिर भी he's sidelined. Basically, he has been sidelined, right?
Yeah.
So government position is very important. People like Shomode and all, they should be given very important position. Nobody is doing anything in the government of India. So that is why 240. Now we're understanding.
Yeah. Good. Okay then. No more questions. Thank you guys for joining, and Christoph lies a lot. This was a very enlightening conversation. This was our most it was basically a gigantic sociology seminar, right? A 2-hour long seminar with audience Q&A. Nice.
Yeah.
My channel should be funded by JNU. The JNU VC should be should become a member.
Stop making stupid comments. I'm telling you, I'm warning you.
আবার কি বলছে?
এখন কিছু বলেনি, but I
ও
am
আচ্ছা
getting
আচ্ছা।
angry. Okay, you won't like me when I'm angry. Okay. Okay,
Oh
fine.
yeah. So Nandish is saying, wait, guys, Nalanda is coming up. Do you think they are Modi has some plans about with Nalanda? Is he going to
यार
handle
इसका
situation?
क्या प्लान है भाई? 10 साल हो गया. I am just pissed off. Okay, I have since June 4th. मेरा पूरा क्या साढ़े साथ ही क्या चल रहा है भगवान जाने. Okay, I am just frustrated and angry. Okay, and perhaps what has happened is good. Perhaps he needs to smell the coffee. Let's see. Okay, let's see.
Yeah.
Okay,
Uh,
bye guys.
Bye then. Good night, guys. Thank you for
Yeah.
joining. Bye bye.
श्रवरूढं महाभीमं गुणाद्रष्टाङ्गरप्रदम् अस्य युक्तं त्रिनेत्रं च कपालकर्णिकाकराम् मुक्तकेशीं ललज्जयं पिबन्तीं रुधिरं चतुर्बाहु समायुक्तं वराभयकरं स्मरेत् चतुर्बाहु